Morning arrived quietly in Vellora. Not with noise, not with hurry, but with breath. The town exhaled fog, slow and pale, as if it had spent the whole night holding secrets in its chest. Streets that were loud with footsteps yesterday now listened to silence. Windows glowed faintly, one by one, like tired eyes opening after a long dream. And somewhere inside this fog, truth was moving. Not loudly, not bravely, but steadily. Because secrets, when ready, always find a way to walk. Arman hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same image. A torn photograph. A half-remembered face. And words that refused to stay quiet. My brother may still be alive. He had said it aloud only once. Lina. And even saying it felt dangerous, like waking something that preferred to stay hidden. The water under the bridge moved slowly. It didn't argue. It didn't answer. But it listened. And sometimes listening is the first step toward truth. Lina felt the morning before she saw it. The cold touched her cheeks gently, like a reminder that she was alive. She held her journal the way some people hold hands. For courage. She had dreamed of her fiancé again. Not as he died. But as he laughed. That was new. Dreams had only shown her loss before. Now they were showing her memory. And memory, she was learning, could heal. Few let it. She turned a corner and saw Arman on the bridge. Quiet. Waiting for something he couldn't name. They didn't greet each other with words. Some mornings don't need language. They stood together watching the water. I found something last night, Lina said softly. Arman turned slightly. Not fully. Like he was afraid movement might break the moment. What? He asked. She opened her journal and removed a folded paper. It was old. Yellowed. Handwritten. I found it in the guesthouse library, she said. It was hidden inside a travel book about this region. Arman unfolded it slowly. The words were faded but clear. Some men disappear not because they want to be lost, but because someone else wants them silent. Arman's fingers tightened around the paper. My brother worked near these mountains, he said. Before he vanished. The fog thickened. As if it were listening. Arman remembered him clearly. Not as missing, but as living. Laughing too loudly. Trusting too easily. Always believing that people were kinder than they sometimes are. He said he found something, Arman whispered. Something people wanted hidden. Lina looked at him. Do you think that's why he disappeared? Arman didn't answer. Some questions are too heavy to lift all at once. They followed the path the wind seemed to suggest. Not because it spoke, but because it moved differently there. The forest was quiet. Not empty, just listening. Then Lina stopped. Look, she said. Footprints. Fresh. Leading away from the road. Into the trees. Someone walks here early, Lina said. Or someone doesn't want to be seen, Arman replied. They looked at each other. And without saying it, they agreed. They would follow. Each step felt like crossing a line. Not a line on the ground, but a line inside themselves. Fear whispered. Curiosity answered. And courage, quiet courage, kept walking. Lina felt her heart beat faster. Not from danger. From purpose. For the first time since her loss, she wasn't just surviving. She was moving forward. The footprints ended at a door. Locked but not tightly. Arman placed his hand on the door. This is where answers wait, he said. Or where questions grow, Lina replied. They looked at each other. Fear was there. But so was trust. And sometimes trust is stronger than fear. Arman pushed the door. It opened with a slow, tired sound. And inside that silence, something was waiting. The light entered first. Then them. And with every step inside, Vellora seemed to hold its breath. Because some truths don't like being found. But once they are, they never stay silent again. The shed smelled of time. Of wood that had forgotten the touch of hands. Of dust that had settled like a blanket over forgotten days. Arman stepped inside first. Each footstep sounded louder than it should have, as if the walls were repeating his fear back to him. Lina followed, quieter, her eyes moving slowly, like she was afraid that looking too fast might wake something. The door creaked behind them, not closing, just reminding them they were no longer outside. Nothing here looked alive, but many things looked used. Someone had been careful once. Someone had stored things with purpose. Why hide this place? Lina whispered. Arman touched a lantern. It left a clean mark where dust used to be. Because some things aren't meant to be seen, he said. Until someone decides they should be. Lina knelt. Under a table, half hidden by shadow, was a box. Plain. No lock. Just closed. She looked at Arman. He nodded once. She opened it. Inside. Papers. A thin leather book tied with string. Her breath caught. "This isn't trash," she said. "This is memory." Arman untied the string. The pages were filled with careful writing. Places. His heart began to beat louder. Then he saw a name. His brother's. He froze. "That's him," he said. Lina leaned closer. The entry read, "Ali Salim delivered records from the northern site. Said people are being paid to stay silent." Arman's hands trembled. "They knew him," he whispered. "They used him." Arman remembered his brother leaving that morning, saying only, "I found something wrong." Then a silence. No calls. No letters. Nobody. Just absence. And now, a book that proved his brother hadn't vanished by accident. He had vanished because he knew too much. "This isn't just about your brother," Lina said slowly. "These pages talk about money, supplies, illegal routes." She pointed to a line. "Some families paid to forget. Some men paid to disappear." Arman swallowed. "And some didn't get paid at all." The silence after his words felt heavy, like the shed itself was listening. Photo slipped out. It landed near Lina's foot. She picked it up. 3 men stood near a mountain road. One was Ali. One was unfamiliar. The third wore a uniform. Not official, but powerful. "That man," Lina said. "He's still in town." Arman looked up sharply. "What?" "I saw him yesterday," she said. "Near the market. Watching people." Arman felt his chest tighten. The past was not finished. It was walking. Sound came from outside. A step. Low. Heavy. Someone was near the shed. Lina's eyes widened. Arman closed the book quietly. They didn't speak. They didn't breathe loudly. Because some truths don't want witnesses. "We're not alone," he said. The footsteps stopped, right outside the door. And in that silence, Arman understood something terrifying. The story of his brother was not over. It was just starting to be told. They didn't run. Running makes noise. And noise attracts memory. They stepped into the fog like shadows learning how to breathe. The shed stayed behind them, holding secrets like a mouth that refused to close. The air was cold, not with weather, but with warning. Lina held the notebook inside her coat like it could feel fear too. Arman's eyes searched everything. The road, trees, the space between silence. The path back to Vellora felt longer than before. Because now, every step carried a question. Who was watching? And why? The fog blurred the world into shapes without answers. Lina whispered, "What if he followed us?" Arman didn't answer. He didn't need to. Fear had already spoken. For a moment, just one. A shape moved between the trees. Not clear, not close, but real. Lina stopped. Arman gently pulled her forward. "Don't look back," he whispered. "But some things grow stronger when you stare at them." They walked faster. Not running. Not yet. Arman remembered Ali walking like this. Careful. Quiet. Afraid of air. He remembered Ali saying, "If something happens to me, it won't be an accident." At the time, Arman had laughed. Now, laughter felt like a mistake that couldn't be erased. Lina looked down. Footprints. Not theirs. Fresh. Pointing in the same direction. She touched Arman's arm. Someone is walking where we are walking. Arman swallowed. Then we walk like we don't know. They passed fields that once grew wheat. Now they grew silence. Every broken fence felt like a warning. Every wind sound felt like a breath that didn't belong to them. Lina whispered, "Why does this town feel like it remembers too much?" Arman said, "Because no one ever asked it to forget." Her fingers pressed against the leather book. Felt warm. Like it remembered hands that were no longer alive. "Your brother wanted people to know," Lina said softly. "But he didn't get the chance." Arman looked ahead. "Then will be his chance." Vellora appeared slowly, like it was deciding whether to show itself. Lights glowed faintly. Doors stayed closed. Windows watched. Some towns don't sleep. They wait. At the end of the street, a man stood still. Not walking. Not hiding. Just watching. Lina's heart pounded. Arman's jaw tightened. The man turned slightly. They couldn't see his face, but they could feel his attention. He walked away. Low. Like he wanted to be followed. "He wants us to see him," Arman said. "Or he wants us to fear him," Lina replied. Both felt true. They didn't follow. They didn't stop. They just stood still. Until he disappeared into fog. The fog swallowed the street. Like nothing had ever stood there. But some things don't vanish. They wait. Watching from places fog cannot hide. Lina moved closer to Arman. Not from fear. From trust. "Whatever this is," she said, "we face it together." Arman nodded. The wind moved past them. And in that wind, Vellora whispered again. "Some truths fight back. When you try to bring them into light." The building waited like it had been forgotten by time. Its stones were dark with age. Its windows were blind with dust. The library of Vellora. No one went there anymore. Because stories inside it didn't stay on the pages. They followed you home. Arman and Lina stood before its door. Not touching it yet. Some doors feel like they already know your name. The wind touched the handle before they did. It moved like it was breathing. Lina whispered, "It feels like someone is waiting inside." Arman replied, "Or something." He placed his hand on the handle. Cold. Colder than the fog. The door opened like it didn't want to. Like it had been told to stay closed for a reason. Dust moved in the air. Not from walking. From waking. The smell of old paper filled their lungs. And something else. Regret. The library looked like it had stopped in the middle of a sentence. Books lay open on tables. Pages curled like dry leaves. Chairs were pushed back like someone had stood up fast. No one had come back to sit down. Lina touched a book gently. Fell apart. Like it was tired of holding words. Names were written there. Some crossed out. Some circled. Some scratched so hard they tore the paper. One name appeared again and again. Ali Rahman. Arman felt his chest tighten. "He was here," he whispered. "Before he disappeared." Arman saw it clearly. Ali standing right where he stood now. Hiding a book behind others. Looking over his shoulder. Not afraid of ghosts. Afraid of people. Ali knew, Arman said. Knew something dangerous. Lina noticed a small desk in the corner. Its drawer was locked. But old locks forget how to be strong. He pulled gently. It opened like it had been waiting. Inside. Letters. Tied with faded red thread. The writing was Ali's. Arman knew it instantly. He had seen it on notes left at home. On books. On scraps of thought. His hand shook. Lina placed the letters in his palms. Some words carry the weight of missing people. If you are reading this, I was right to hide. Some in Vellora sell silence for safety. They bury truth under kindness. If I vanish, don't trust what they tell you. The wind will remember me. So must you. Lina felt it before she saw it. Change in the air. Like someone had entered without opening the door. He turned. The door was still open. But the fog outside was thicker now. Thick. Shadow moved. Low. Careful. Like it didn't want the light to know it existed. Arman folded the letter quickly. Not hiding it. protecting it. They know we're here, he said. And now, Lina whispered, we know they're afraid. The library held its breath. And somewhere between pages and shadows, the past was watching them. They left the library without closing the door. Not because they forgot, because it felt wrong to touch it again. The fog had grown thicker, not soft anymore, heavy, like it carried weight. Arman stepped first. Lina followed, close enough to feel his breath. Neither spoke, because sometimes silence is safer than sound. Their footsteps sounded louder than they should have. Or maybe the night had grown better at listening. Every step felt counted. Every breath felt noticed. Lina whispered, do you think someone followed us? Arman didn't answer. He slowed instead. That was his answer. The fog touched Lina's face like cold fingers. She remembered another night. Another fog. Another goodbye. Her fiancé had stood where the lights were brightest. She had stood where shadows lived. He had smiled like nothing could touch him. The next morning, he never woke. Some goodbyes arrive late. Arman stopped. The fog behind them moved. Not like wind, like walking. He turned slowly. Someone is there, he said. A shape stood where they had been seconds ago. Watching. The fog didn't hide it. It served it. Lina felt fear press against her ribs. Not screaming. Waiting. Arman reached for Lina's hand. Not to pull her. Promise. Run when I say, he whispered. She nodded. Not brave, but trusting. They didn't run yet. Running tells the world you are afraid. They walked faster. Fraider. As if nothing was wrong. Behind them. The footsteps followed. Not closer. Not farther. Just enough. They didn't run yet. Running tells the world you are afraid. They walked faster. Fraider. As if nothing was wrong. Behind them. The footsteps followed. Not closer. Not farther. Just enough. She looked back once. That was enough. The figure had moved. Not closer. Not slower. Matching them. Like a mirror made of shadow. Arman turned into an alley without warning. Narrow. Twisting. The kind of place that swallows sound. He whispered, now. They ran. Their breath broke into pieces. Stone walls rushed past. Fog chased them like it had teeth. Lina stumbled. Arman caught her. Didn't stop. Didn't slow. Fear makes time thin. They ran into light. Lanterns. Windows. Life. They stopped only when people appeared. The fog stayed behind. Like it wasn't welcome where truth could be seen. Lina pressed her hands to her face. Not crying. Close. Someone wanted us quiet, she said. Arman nodded. And now, he replied, they know we won't be. The fog waited at the edge of light. But no one stood in it anymore. Some threats leave when seen. Others only learn. Arman tightened his grip on the letters inside his coat. Ollie, he whispered, we're walking your path now. And the wind answered. By not denying it. Morning came quietly. Not like yesterday's fear. Not like last night's footsteps. The fog retreated as if it had never learned how to stay. Vellora looked gentle again. But Arman knew better. Places don't change that fast. Only faces do. They didn't talk about the night. Not because they forgot. Because some memories need daylight before they can be spoken. The guest house door creaked open like it remembered them. Inside, the air smelled of wood and years. Pictures lined the walls. Faces of people who had stayed. And left. And some who never truly did. Lina stopped. One photo held her. The boy in the picture smiled like he trusted tomorrow. Arman stepped closer. His breath left him. That's him, he whispered. That's Ollie. Lina felt something cold move through her. Here, she asked. Yes, Arman said. He was here. A voice came from behind them. He stayed in the attic. They turned. The guest house owner stood there. As if waiting years for this moment. He asked questions, the man said. About the hills. About letters. About men who don't like being named. Arman felt his chest tighten. Why didn't you tell the police? The old man shook his head. Because he wasn't hiding from law, he said. He was hiding from silence. They climbed slowly. Each step felt like walking backward through time. The attic smelled like old paper and rain. A small door waited at the end. The kind that remembers secrets. Notebooks lay everywhere. Some open. Some closed like they were still thinking. Arman picked one up. Ali's handwriting. He knew it the way you know your own name. The pages spoke in puzzles. Names half-written. Places marked in ink that looked like blood. Ali hadn't been lost. He had been chasing something. And it had chased him back. Lina knelt. One board moved when it shouldn't. Under it, metal box, cold, heavy, like it didn't belong to the room. Inside were letters. Dozens. Some sealed. Some torn. All written in the same hand. Ali's. And another. One Lina recognized. The same handwriting from the bookstore. Ali wrote about men who sold silence. Who paid villages to forget. Who made people disappear not with weapons, but with fear. One letter ended unfinished. Ink fading. Like the hand had been forced to stop. He wasn't running, Arman said. He was protecting someone. Lina whispered. Maybe us. Clouds moved over the sun. The room dimmed. Not from weather. From warning. Some secrets don't like being found. And they don't wait long to answer. The sky changed its face. Not slowly. Not kindly. Clouds folded over the mountains like a warning being written in gray. Arman stepped outside first. The air felt heavier than before. Like it was listening. Lina followed, holding one of the letters tightly. Do you feel it? She asked. Arman nodded. Yes. Something knows we've seen too much. The old man didn't stop them. He didn't warn them either. He only said, if you walk fast, the wind may walk faster. They didn't ask what that meant. They already felt it. Their steps echoed too loudly. Every corner felt watched. Every window felt awake. Lina whispered, maybe we should go back. Arman shook his head. If we turn now, we'll never stop running. A shadow moved where no person stood. Not fast. Not slow. Just enough to be noticed. Lina stopped. Did you see that? Arman answered without looking. Yes. They didn't turn around. They knew better. Vellora's heart was usually warm. Now it felt quiet in a way that wasn't peace. Shop doors were closed. Lanterns weren't lit. Even the wind felt careful. Lina held the letter like it could protect her. Her hand trembled. Not from fear alone. From knowing. Some truths don't wait politely. They arrive like storms. A man stood where the street bent. Butching. He didn't hide. That was worse. Arman felt anger rise. He followed Ali, he said. I know it. The man turned. Walked away slowly. Like he wanted them to follow. Lina grabbed Arman's arm. Don't, she whispered. But Arman's eyes were already moving. The alley narrowed. Walls closed in. Sounds faded. Even their breathing felt loud. The man disappeared around a corner. And so did the street behind them. They entered a courtyard no one claimed. A broken fountain stood in the center. Dry. Silent. Like it had cried all it could. The man was gone. Or hiding. A step. Behind them. Not heavy. Not light. Careful. Too careful. Lina turned first. No one. But the sound didn't stop. Arman moved in front of Lina. Not brave. Just unwilling to lose again. A voice spoke from the dark. You found what wasn't meant for you. Two men appeared. Faces calm. Eyes empty. They didn't look angry. They looked paid. Give us the letters, one said softly. Walk away, said the other. Forget this town. Arman answered. We already forgot once. It cost too much. The man moved closer. Not fast. Not violent. Certain. You don't know what you're holding. Lina said. We know it belongs to the truth. The man smiled. Truth is expensive. The wind rose. Suddenly, like Vellora had chosen a side. Dust filled the air. The fountain creaked. And in that noise, Arman grabbed Lina's hand. "Run," he said. They ran. Not away from men. Or hope. Footsteps followed. Shouts echoed. But the wind covered their fear. Guided them. Pushed them forward. They reached the open street. Collapsed near a closed shop. Silence returned too fast. Too neatly. Lina whispered. "They'll come again," Arman said. "Then we won't be alone next time." He looked toward the hills. Where Ollie once walked. Where secrets still waited. Night returned to Vellora like a quiet apology. The clouds that had frightened the sky slowly loosened their grip. Stars began to appear. Not bright, not bold, but steady. Like people who stay even after storms. Arman and Lina walked slowly now. Running was over. Thinking had begun. Their footsteps no longer echoed in fear. They echoed in understanding. Lina spoke first. "If we stop now, everything Ollie tried to protect disappears." Arman nodded. "And if we continue, someone might get hurt." She looked at him. Someone already did. They reached the high edge of town. Below them Vellora slept. Above them the sky listened. Arman said, "My brother didn't die for silence. He died for truth." Lina replied softly, "Then we don't get to choose comfort anymore." Her face glowed in warm light. Fear still lived there, but it shared space with courage. "I used to write stories," she said. "Now I think I was being written into one." Arman smiled faintly. "So was I." The wind moved again. Not angry. Not wild. Guiding. Like a hand on their backs. Pushing them toward something neither could see yet. Ollie once stood here. He had looked at the sky and said, "If truth scares people, it means it matters." He had laughed. He had believed. And he had paid for it. Arman felt his brother beside him. Not as a ghost. As a purpose. "I won't let his courage disappear," he said. Lina placed her hand over his. Then we walked together. Their hands fit without trying. Not because they needed saving. Because they chose standing. Love didn't rush. It arrived quietly. Like dawn. A path curved beyond the hill. It led toward old ruins. Toward secrets Ollie had followed. Toward danger. And meaning. Lina whispered, "Tomorrow." Arman answered, "At first light." He smiled, not happy. Hopeful. There is a difference. Happiness forgets danger. Hope walks with it. They turned back toward Vellora. Not to hide. To prepare. The wind followed them. Quietly. Faithfully. Lina wrote that night. Not about pain. Not about fear. She wrote, "If love is brave, it walks beside truth." Her hand did not shake. Arman looked at his brother's photo. Not to mourn. Promise. "Tomorrow," he said, "we finish what you began." Night loosened its hold. Dawn waited behind the mountains. Not gentle. Not kind. Honest. And in that waiting light, two hearts prepared to face what truth demands.